I understand when you opened White & Co, you opened with just 8 staff, but an absolutely massive office, so like 16,000 square feet.
Correct, yes.
What was the logic behind that? Because it's a huge space, and it means that you almost were maybe rattling around a little bit at the start.
Oh, you should have seen it. It was like the amount of space that we actually used was probably the size of this room, which is not very large. So out of 16,000 square feet, we were probably using 200 of it. And it was like just 2 banks of desks and a Sonos speaker in the middle of the floor and a computer on each desk. And obviously the thought behind it was I'd already ran a real estate company before this business, and I'd had to expand and change offices 3 times. So what I thought is, I know how to scale a business. That business wasn't even solely owned by me, and that was actually with people who were holding me back. So I was like, if I've managed to scale that business from 10 people to 80, and then now I've left it open on my own and I can do things my own way, I was like, we're not going to struggle to fill this office. We're not going to struggle to expand. We're going to be able to hire people. It wasn't as easy to hire people as I thought it would be, but we did manage, and obviously now sitting at 400 plus, it's worked out. But I love risk. I love risk. I love back being against the wall. I love when times are tough and everyone's going like, oh, we shouldn't do this. When everyone dials back, we put our foot down harder. You know, oh, Ramadan's coming around, the market's going to get quiet. Guys, Ramadan's coming around. We do not stop, because this is when everyone else thinks it gets quiet. Do you know what I mean?
I'm a big believer in self-fulfilling prophecies. So I work in sales away from the podcast, and I've been doing a lot of sales coaching the last 6 months. And one of the things I'll teach the guys is remove norms. So nobody answers the phone on a Friday, or if you send a voice note to this financial director or this manager director, that won't be professional. Or never send a video, that like they're not used to being communicated like that. Absolutely, do something different, stand out from the crowd. And I mean, the risks that you take are really, really impressive, Calum. The fact that you were an early adopter of the buy points to your willingness to do that, then to take on this huge office, I think you embraced that side of your character really, really well.
Yeah, no, I feel the same. And what you're saying there about norms, I 100% agree with. Like, I think that, you know, people, I seen it recently. I was talking to someone and they were saying, yeah, it takes about 12 touch points for someone to list a property with you. I seen someone do a video on it, and I was like, that means everyone in their business thinks that they have to call someone 12 times to get a listing. Whereas in here, it's like, as soon as you speak to someone, you should be going out to try and meet them, which means that's 2 touch points. You know what I mean? So not going to happen with every listing, but I'm saying, like, if you can get people on the market within 2 touch points, and you've got other companies out there that are saying to their brokers that it takes 12 touch points, how often are you going to really phone someone? Say you phone them once a week. That means you're talking about 12 weeks to get that listing on live. It's going to be sold by now. Whereas I'm talking about phoning them today and meeting them today. So it's just, again, it's eliminating that norm, like you said, because at that company, their norm is saying 12 touch points. In this company, it's as quick as you can. And I guess that there's always an average, but I'm saying it's you need to eliminate norms. That's it.
When you were building White & Co, you start with 8 staff, but then it's obviously compounded year on year.
Yeah.
One of the phrases I've heard you use is that you don't just take brokers from other firms, but you make them.
Yep.
What does that process look like?
First of all, I'm really proud of that, and it doesn't mean that any other company is doing it the wrong way, but, you know, it's a bit like, you know, other companies train up brokers and then someone else just comes in and goes, oh, come and move here. And usually it's just very simple as this. There'll be another brokerage on 50% commission, another brokerage opens up and just goes, we'll give you 60. And all that hard work that they've put into them's gone. The good thing for us is we pay really high commission, so it doesn't usually work like that with us.
That's one of your standouts, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely one of our UPSs is that we are definitely a high paying brokerage, but not to every single person, to the people that perform. Because let's be honest, if someone wants to go and approach one of my brokers who's on 50%, chances are they've not been hitting their targets, they're not on 70%, therefore it's not going to be that big a deal to the business. Doesn't mean I want anyone to leave, we still want to help and train that person, but anyone in my business who's on 70% means that they build a certain amount, or it means they've been consistent with their targets. And that's how it works, from like 50 to 55, 60, 65, 70. Within 1 year you can go from 50% to 70. But sorry, coming back to the initial point, which was about us making brokers, I'm just really proud of it, because I know that when I joined Dubai Real Estate, I had 0 training, and I managed to absolutely thrive. And I can only imagine I wonder if I would be better or worse, you know, if I'd had some training, and because I learned my own way and did it that way. But what we've done now is we've got 11 directors, then we've got 2 training managers, and between us all, we've sat down, we've looked at what works, we've looked at the process, we've got so much evidence now that what we've done works that no one can argue with us. And it's the same at any of the big businesses out here, you know, any of the big real estate brokerages. You can say what you want about them, but they obviously know what they're doing. So I guess for me, it's a good thing to know that if any broker ever left the business, which obviously I never want them to, but if they ever did, that we can always continue trying to make more.
It's impressive, isn't it? Because and you spoke about the washing machine, because there's going to be 25% that aren't quite cutting it at the start. Yep. And they either get washed through the training again, and they come out the other side as one of the either the standard performers or the top performers, or they leave, but you've given them all the tools that they can really.
I used to find it really tough when people were underperforming. My name was on the wall. I struggle with people not doing well. Obviously, I don't want anyone not to do well. But then it comes to a point where you sit and you go, they've got all the same tools as everyone else. I walk around the room myself every day. Like today, I'm in here doing this podcast. I had to send a message. I don't have to, sorry. I chose to send a message this morning saying, guys, I'm out at a podcast this morning. This is to our entire sales team, 300 people. I'm out at a podcast this morning, guys. I won't be in until later, probably around about 12. Remember, go and speak to your managers because I'm not coming round this morning. Because every other morning, I walk around like a table of 8 people. I'll walk over, I'll go, does anyone need anything? I'll walk over another table of 8. Does anyone need anything? Most of the time they say no, but I know that no one can ever turn around to me and say I didn't get any support because I've actually walked around myself. So now the only excuses can be that you're not performing because of you. Do you know what I'm saying? Because
you're removing the common excuses and tropes that may come up, and salespeople will always have.
But that's the whole thing. Is someone, sorry to interrupt, someone left our business and said that to me. They left our business and they went. I just didn't feel like I got enough support. I took it serious, and there was 2 ways I could have went with that. I could have went, didn't get enough support. We've got 11 directors, 2 training managers. You're 30-odd-year-old. You know how to be an adult. You should have just asked. But that's the wrong way to act, and that's what I maybe would have done in year 1. But now, looking at it and looking at where I am and looking at what we should be doing, now I'd never want to hear that excuse again, so I'm eliminating it.
How is that leadership style matured? Because what you're saying there, that's a level of maturity you've built.
Year 1, put it this way, I was a tyrant. So I hate the fact that if people are underperforming that they don't care as much as I care. So I used to come in and someone maybe is sitting on 0 and we're on the 16th of the month and it's a Monday and I've been in on Saturday, Sunday, Friday. And I'm sitting there going, that person didn't come in once this weekend. And they always hit you with, oh yeah, but I could have been working from somewhere else. I'm like, you weren't. I know you weren't. And this is in the early days when the office was small. The office, like, I'm in the office. Neil, my managing director, he'd have been in the office. So I know you weren't there. And I'd come in on the Monday and I would literally pick out every person. You're on 0. Why would you move to Dubai to do real estate to earn 0? You might as well go be a receptionist somewhere. Why are you wasting everyone's time? Next person, next person. People used to leave these meetings crying. The girls would go to the toilets crying. And I'd be sitting going like, what are they crying for? Do they not understand? Like, they shouldn't be crying. They should be taking responsibility. Now I understand people are going to do exactly what they want to do. And as you build a workforce as big as we are, not everyone's the same as you. Some people's motivation isn't to become a multi-millionaire. And that's crazy to think that when you're in real estate. But I'm saying, like, some people are happy taking home £150,000 and getting to see their kids every day and getting to go on a couple of nice holidays and so on and so forth. And as I've matured, I've realised that there's no point. Sometimes my managing director has to say to me, Cal, just leave this one. Or I have to say to him, Neil, don't let it bother you. Because we're such high performers in the aspect of where we hold our standards to, that we expect everyone to be there. To have everyone's motivation in life the same standard as you is crazy. To have everyone's standard as in our professionalism, easy. To have everyone's standard as in how we conduct ourselves, easy. But to have everyone's motivation in life the same as you, the world wouldn't work that way.
Everyone's got different drivers and at different times too.
It's true, yeah.
And we were texting earlier on this week and I mentioned to you a book by Thomas Erickson called Surrounded by Idiots.
Yeah.
And it's all about different personality types. And the reason you feel like you're surrounded by idiots is because you there as a high performer, intrinsically motivated, super driven, cannot understand why Sarah didn't come into the office Friday, Saturday, Sunday when they're on 0. So you feel you must be an idiot. It's not that they're an idiot, it's that they are just wired differently to you. They're not as intrinsically motivated. They would happily make enough to pay for their rent and go to the beach club every weekend, whereas you're like, no, I want to build this behemoth, I want to go. When you start to understand different personality types, you can deal with people in the way that they can see themselves. And authenticity is a buzzword online nowadays. I think you should be authentic, but you should also be flexible in your approach. So in my day job, the way that I speak to the stock team who are ordering furniture from the Far East is very different to the way that I speak to the other sales guys, because I can't come in all guns blazing excited about the deal that I'm working on that's going to be the biggest one I've ever done with the stock team, because they're going to freak out. They're going to be like, oh, that's a lot for us to handle. I'm going to be a bit more precise. I'm going to share the Excel with them before the meeting. I'm going to be like, guys, just to let you know, we're going to go through this in the meeting. Whereas the sales team, I'm going to come in chest beating like the Wolf of Wall Street. It's a bit different, and it's horses for courses. Some run better on fast and hard ground, some run better on slow and kind of firmer, more hard ground.
Definitely. No, I think something that you've said there as well, it's been a bit of a social chameleon in the aspect of, you know, my top performers, usually it's very easy to get more motivation out of them. You just tell them someone else has got a big deal coming and then you watch them go, no, they've got a big deal coming. Next thing you know, they're out on their phones trying to find another deal. But then see, for people who are a bit softer, we just break them down. There's loads of personality types, but the 4 that I break them into is triangle, square, circle, squiggle. It's just an easy way of doing it. But example, the circles who are emotional, all right, and they're very good with selling to families, or they're very good to selling to people who need a vision. So they're the kind of people that go in and do a viewing and go like, oh, can you imagine the baby's crib being there and, you know, the family? I can't do that stuff. I'm not very emotional, but when I'm talking to one of those guys, they come under the wing. You know what I mean? Instead, it's coming in and going, let's have a sit down. Listen, me and you, I want to talk to you about this because I care about you. I want to see you do well. Whereas to my high performers who are a triangle, it's a case of going, oh, I heard David's got a deal on the go that's going to knock you off first place. I'd be worried if I was you. And it's different motivation for them both, because one of them wants to win that bad. The other one, if I said to them someone else got a deal, they probably got a bit sad.
That's like, proper leadership though, Calum. You recognise how to speak to somebody to get the most out of them.
It's taking time.
Of course it has. And I'm a big believer in zooming out and getting perspective. Like, the reason I opened with a daft question about sitting in McHugh Fraser in the Edinburgh office is you're a radically different person.
Yeah.
Now than you were then, and so much will have happened across that time. And I spoke to a lady called Dr. Meg Jay, she's an American psychologist, last year, and she speaks about identity capital. So all the different experiences, all the different moments that we have in our life, we're banking them into this big bank account, which is building up our identity capital, and at different times we'll cash them in. So now you're in a season where you're able to cash in the identity capital of knowing how to speak to different people and get the most from it, whereas Calum from even 2022 or 2021 would have killed for that experience, but now you've got it, you're like, look, I'm just cashing this in all the time and I'm super valuable at doing this.
No, definitely, I agree.
It's really cool. Talk to me about your ability to bring in somebody and what they might be able to earn within the first year if they apply themselves in the best possible way. I hope you enjoyed that clip. For more on my channel, hit the link just here, subscribe, and you can enjoy the full episode.